Hey guys, it's Becca. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing why we will not be using the Disney dining plan on our upcoming trip this April. We have used the dining plan before and I've done a video talking about whether or not we saved money. I saved all of my receipts and all of that, so I will link that below for you guys to check out. But because we have used it before, and then of course we've done trips without the dining plan, I feel like I have a pretty well-rounded view of the dining plan, and I was able to make a decision for this trip pretty clear-minded because I've seen both sides. So I'm gonna go through all of our plans for our dining. We typically plan out meal by meal. That is usually how we do it. I like to know exactly what we're gonna do, even if we have a quick service meal planned. I like to know down to the location of where we're gonna go. Same thing with, of course, our table service meals. Those are all mapped out ahead of time. This trip though is a little bit different. I have a couple plans set in stone, but other than that, we are super flexible and we are really, really excited about that. Before I continue, I also wanted to add that I did do a trip announcement for this video, so if you want to hear a little more details about the trip, definitely go check that out because I'm gonna keep this very focused on dining. So starting with the first night, we are getting in pretty late that evening, later for us, that is, but with the Magical Express, it can sometimes be unpredictable. Sometimes you can just walk right on and your bus is ready to go. Other times you're waiting up to 45 minutes and you just really don't know. And so for us, based on what time we get there, how long we have to wait for the Magical Express, things like that, we are really just anticipating maybe packing some snacks on the plane, and then if we get to our resort and the quick service location is still open by the time we get there, then we may or may not grab something. But again, we're just being super flexible, and that will be our first night. Our next day, we are gonna be at Epcot, and so we are gonna get to experience the Flower and Garden Festival. And that is what we're planning to do for lunch, is eating around the world, trying a bunch of different snacks, and that is pretty much gonna be our lunch. And then for dinner, we have made reservations at Le Cellier, which is a signature restaurant. The next day, we are gonna be at Magic Kingdom, and we have zero plans for our meals. We are really just gonna enjoy being flexible and just kind of play it by ear on whatever we're feeling like. And if that means a last-minute table service reservation or a quick service location, or we may want to check out some of the lounge type options that are in the monorail resort area. For instance, Trader Sam's. We really want to check out Trader Sam's, and I know they have a menu which includes some appetizers and small plates, but after looking over their menu, I feel like it could totally replace a full meal. I mean, you could go for dinner and get a couple appetizers and let that be your meal. We really like having the option of letting that be our dinner. And so I don't know if we'll end up doing that or not, but having the option of going somewhere like that for dinner is really exciting for us. And that is a location that you cannot use dining credits at because it's not considered a quick service meal since it's just an appetizer. So whether or not we were on the dining plan, those items would have to be paid for out of pocket. All in all, that day is totally up in the air. We have a bunch of places we want to try. Like I mentioned, Trader Sam's, possibly Geyser Point, Territory Lounge. We just have this list of this ongoing list, I feel like, that keeps getting added to, of places that we really want to try, and it'll just kind of be whatever we're feeling like. So that is our plan for our Magic Kingdom day. Our next day will be at Disney Springs, and again, no plans. We may or may not make a last-minute dining reservation for lunch. We may try out a quick service location. We may go hang out at the Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar, which is another Trader Sam's type location where they just have appetizers and small plates and you cannot use a dining credit on those types of items. So things like that. And thinking about making a last minute table service reservation, we may want to split an entree or just get a couple of appetizers. Again, another day where our plans are just totally up in the air, but we're really excited to just play it by ear and see what we're in the mood for. And then later that night, we do have a dining reservation at the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater that evening at Hollywood Studios. And our last day, we will be at Animal Kingdom. Same thing, just like I've been saying, we don't have any plans, but there's an ongoing list of places that we know we love or that we really want to try, quick service locations, and we may want to check out the Nomad Lounge outside of Tiffin's, another place where they only serve small plates and appetizers. So again, we just are really excited about having the flexibility to do whatever we're in the mood for in the moment and not feeling locked into, all right, we gotta be here at a certain time. We have this reservation at noon. We gotta be here, we gotta be there. So those are pretty much our plans when it comes to dining for this upcoming trip. As most of you know, there are 3 different dining plan options. There's the quick service option, the regular dining plan, and the deluxe option. And when we were looking at our plans for this trip and thinking about all of the dining that we have planned and the dining that we don't have planned, none of the dining plan options out of those 3 categories really fit with what we were wanting to do. Considering our first full day, we have a signature restaurant planned, and then our next day, we may want to just go hang out at some lounge type places and try out some small plates and appetizers as a meal. And then we have another table service reservation. We'll probably do a couple quick service meals. So we have a pretty good mix of places we're gonna be going, and just locking ourselves into the quick service dining plan really limited what we were able to do. Same thing with the regular dining plan, which we have done in the past, but that same plan doesn't allow us to use a dining credit on any of these lounge type meals. And if we wanted to just get a couple appetizers at a table service restaurant, that wouldn't be covered in a dining plan credit. So those were the types of things that we were thinking about that helped us come to the conclusion that the dining plan was probably not going to be the best for this specific trip. Same thing with those snack credits. We did have the option of using them at Flower and Garden Festival. We've done that before at a festival in the past, and we loved it. We really enjoyed not having to worry about how much each snack was that we were getting at the booths. But again, thinking about the length of our whole trip, it just didn't make sense because we just didn't see ourselves using all of the snacks. Same thing with that refillable mug. The last time we used the dining plan, we really didn't utilize the mug, and that was just kind of a little extra thing for us that really didn't add or take away from the cost of our dining plan. But again, it's just another factor where it really wasn't appealing for us with having that refillable mug. When planning trips now, I typically make a list of all of the places that we want to try, whether it be a lounge, a quick service, a table service, and then go from there. Rather than deciding up front, okay, we're going to use the regular dining plan and then we have to make everything fit into that. And I think for this trip, we really liked the option of just having the flexibility of doing whatever we wanted to do and not having to plan so strategically in advance, because the dining plan really does require a lot of planning if you want to make it worth it. Now, if you're somebody where you're like, I don't really care if it's worth it or not, we just like the ease of having our food prepaid for, then that's totally different. And I think for us, we still get that all-inclusive feel because we do the gift card method, meaning we kind of plan out a budget for our food and we prepay for that on a gift card, and then we're still able to use our magic bands throughout the trip, and then each night we're just going back to the front desk at our resort and paying off our bill from that day. So it is an extra step, but for us, it's really not a big deal because at the end of the night, we're probably getting dropped off at the front lobby area anyway, and it just makes sense for us. So we're still getting that all-inclusive feel because we're using our magic bands. It's the same thing as scanning your magic band to take a credit off of it. And so we're still getting that same feel. So that is pretty much why we are not gonna use the Disney dining plan on this trip. We may use it in the future, I'm not sure, but for this specific trip, we just knew it was gonna be the best thing for us to not use the dining plan, to have a little more flexibility with our plans. So definitely take that into consideration if you are planning a Disney trip, and make a list of all the places that you want to dine at, and then decide, okay, which plan fits with this, or does a plan fit with this at all? And not trying to force a dining plan to work with your vacation, because it may not work. And then other times it may work perfectly. So really just map it out and look at what your plans are. So that is pretty much, again, why we're not going to be using the dining plan. So I hope this was helpful, just hearing from someone who is not going to be using it and why on this trip. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.